Welcome to the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast, where wealth meets legacy. Join your host, Tim Fergestad, as we explore the journeys of Phoenix's finest to success and beyond.
All right. Hello, this is Tim Fergestad. Thank you for joining us. I'm very pleased to have Karen Roch with me here today. Karen is the president and CEO of Credit Union West, of which I'm a proud member. Welcome to the show, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Tim.
All right. So you're the CEO of Credit Union West. I think that's a pretty awesome big deal. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got there and before we start talking about what that entails now currently?
So I actually started in the credit union industry when I was 16. Got a job through the high school program, business program, and early on found a love for the financial industry, especially credit unions, because they're so focused on helping people. Our motto is people helping people, and it's so deep and rich on why it's established. We don't have the stockholders of traditional banks. We're not we're not for profit. So we really get to help the members based on their actual needs, not on what needs to be sold or how to make those earnings. And so it really intrigued me early on. And it's a life changer. When you start understanding finances at such an early age, you really understand how you can have financial wellness as you grow through your life cycle. And so I started at 16 as a collection clerk, begged the teller manager to let me be a teller. She didn't want me to be because I was part-time going through college full-time. And she finally gave me a chance. And after that, they hired numerous part-timers. But I took a leadership role, even working part-time, just always helping our tellers, helping our members. And so as I got my degree, I actually got a degree in HR. And they said, hey, Karen, we don't have an HR department, but we think we want to. We had about 150 employees at that time. Would you?
Okay. Yeah, you need one.
So would you create the HR department? And I said, in my head, you guys are crazy. I have no experience, but in my voice, I was like, why would I turn down this opportunity? Right. So I got that.
Hey, girl. Nice.
And then later they asked me to create the training department. So before it was just, on the job training, we actually created a training department. And then at that point in time, I got my job at Credit Union West, started as a HR manager here, but went on a pretty fast track. My boss, he said he trained me as the military. So he just kept putting me out there. I always thought he was trying to fire me because one day I would be in charge of IT, next day I would be in charge of accounting. I'm like, I don't know this stuff. He's like,
is he grooming you?
He was grooming me. Yes, he was. So I got this opportunity. It's called the Credit Union Executive Society. It's a 3-year program. It's called the Q's Institute. And you go to great places like Wharton, Darton, and you actually work with the professors, but it really gives you a holistic view of how to be a CEO, what needs to be required for that program. And so that was part of my mentorship. And
that sounds amazing.
Yeah. And the moment I came home and said, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm all in. Went back for my master's, just feel it's important to always continuously educate. And within 5 years of that grooming, I became CEO back in 2019. And so,
just in time for the world to be flipped upside down.
Absolutely. Half my team retired. I started very early in management. So I started at 26. And so when everybody else was in their 40s, I was 26. And so by the time I got CEO, everybody wanted to retire. And then COVID happened. And yeah, this has been a jolly ride. So.
Wow. So let's start with what do you find that's easy that other people find challenging? Because it seems like you don't get to where you are without some sort of passion.
Yeah. So I'll step it back to how I grew up. I'm a first-generation native in Arizona, and
it's always exciting to find a true native.
Yeah. And my parents are both immigrants. So my mom was originally from Indonesia. My dad was from England. And that is a very diverse household to grow up in, 2 very unique types of cultures growing up. And so I really feel that based on that upbringing and working with two different complete styles of parenting that were both amazing. But it really taught you diversity early on as far as how to relate with different people. And I think that going through my career, obviously in HR, I've always had a knack to be able to see a plethora of different sides to every story and use that as empathy to create trust, understanding, transparency. And so a lot of people, especially in management, you could be a CEO, you could be a manager, just whatever. Managing people is the hardest thing because you're dealing with personalities and heart.
Yes.
And I've just always had this natural ability to be able to work with very different people. And it sometimes can be a burden because sometimes I'm so used to dealing with different people that other people get either offended or they're like, hey, that person's not whatever. And I'm like, you just gotta understand how they work. And then they're just teddy bears. They're not bears. They're just teddy bears. So,
Nice.
So yeah, I think that's helped me immensely in my career getting to where I am.
For sure. I've heard the saying, an IQ will get you hired, but an EQ will get you promoted, right? Being emotionally intelligent is one of the most important skill sets out there, particularly in this day and age.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and you credit your family for a lot of that.
Yeah. I had a, stodgy English dad, best dad, taught me high integrity, do it right, period. And my mom, she was amazing. At 21, she had about $25 in her pocket, took a boat over to New York, found sponsorship in Phoenix, and came here all by herself. So she's my hero. But yeah, just different people and just amazing people. So I've been really fortunate with my life.
Excellent. So, what's been the current, let's say 2025, what are the current challenges right now at Credit Union West?
Oh, the regulatory landscape has been very interesting in just the last 4 months. We call it every day we open our eyes and it's like, what's going to happen? And
that's exciting.
Yeah. It also can be a little whiplash because, you're potentially dealing with tariffs, and I'm not talking politics, just change in the environment and, how that's going to affect our members, consumers. And so you're continuously pivoting. I think that's been the big one this year, but it's also, the digital age. You think a financial institution is all about money, but they're also a technology company, right? When we look at people and how they use their financial devices today, a lot of it's through phone, laptop, whatever, mobile. It's a changing environment, and so we have to keep up with that technology. We're continuously fighting the big banks just because they have that technology, and so we always need to thicker and pivot. Technology is a big one. And then the cybersecurity. I've heard such cybersecurity scares. And if our members can't protect us with their money because of a breach, an attack, we're done. Right.
Right. So, yeah. No, that's paramount. Would you say that's like perhaps the number one role of a bank is it to keep your security on your
security for sure, because again, you have to have that trusted environment. And that's not just cybersecurity, it's reputation risk, it's everything, right? If we don't put out good products, if we don't have great service, if we don't treat our members great, they're going to go somewhere else. And, I always tell my employees, like, we are here for our members. That's number one. We don't have a job without them. That's the true purpose why we're here. Right. So
that's a testament to the community mindset of Credit Union West. Credit unions in general, right? I mean, it's
general. We have this great collaboration. Like right now, all the CEOs of Arizona and all the credit unions are meeting to say, how can we collaborate to really make an impact on our communities? And you don't hear that with a lot of businesses. Businesses don't get together to talk and say, how can we strategize and work together? You're always looking for ways to help our members because we're not each other's competitors. We're truly here to help the communities that we serve.
Right. And you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys will often work together to pool for loan purposes, for example, and different reasons.
Yeah, different reasons, financial reasons. We have strict regulations. So if one of our portfolios are getting too heavy, we can see some type of loan participation or even deposits, things like that will work too. Yeah.
Right. Excellent. So after security, talking about sort of loans and the way you can serve people is giving them a good return on their money. And I just saw something recently, which I was very surprised with. You guys had like a 6% product, which is amazing. Can you tell us about that real quick?
Yeah. So we really, everything that we do when I work with my team, it impacts the members first. So how can we make good products and services that are really going to help our members? And so our checking account program is that, if we get somebody's checking account, that's a pretty sticky product. People don't want to trade and change. It's too much of a pain in the butt. And so we came up with this product that creates stickiness. Most people have direct deposit or direct withdrawals, so that's one stipulation. E-statements instead of paper statements, which is more secure because you're going into a multi-layer secured system on online banking versus having a statement mailed to you, and it's less money for not having to snail mail it. And then the checking account project and how many debit or credit transactions. So it could be both. There's a 15 transaction requirement. We get some small interchange income off of that. So that's what helps pays the product. But in return, our members get a 6% rate up to $20,000 on their checking account. So it's really easy.
It's really nice. Yes.
And we kicked it out at the 6% this year, and people are loving it. And it's our job to show them how easy it is to use because it's such a great benefit. And people need money. You're earning money for doing nothing. So. Right.
And with inflation up, you gotta not let your nest egg dwindle.
You do. And then we have other products like money markets and CDs that aren't as high as 6%, but any overflow, we've got some great security products there that will help our members secure their money and have a safe environment.
Excellent. So we talked a little bit about the bigger challenges for the company right now. How about yourself personally? Can you share one of the bigger challenges you've had to overcome in your career?
I'm an overachiever, and so I never know when to say no to things. So I have a pretty busy life. In addition to work, I have a lot of animals at home that require a lot of care because I spoil them too much. And so I also have a wonderful but needy husband who's going to be retiring at the end of the year. So I'm going to figure out how to handle that because he loves to do things. And so it's just balancing. I think Credit Union West is pretty known in our environment, and a lot of my team members as well and myself is involved in different types of boards for the credit union industry. And I guess we're making a pretty good impact because I keep getting more invites, and I don't like to say no because there's so many opportunities. But I've always told my team it's important to have work-life balance because you can do all this stuff, but if you're not having fun in the process and doing things that care for yourself, what's the point?
Not sustainable, right?
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's a good one. And some of the most successful people out there, they all say that success isn't about getting more done. It's about saying no to more things, doing less better is what a lot of people talk about. And then depends on your position and your role, but it's a good point. It's a good point.
It is. But I'm building a great team, so I know I can still balance a little bit more before I have to start saying no.
Okay. Well, I know you guys do a lot of great stuff. We just touched on a little bit. Can you talk a little bit more about sort of the impact that you like to have at Credit Union West?
Yeah. So again, communities are really huge for us. And so we're statewide, but we're really trying to embed in the communities that are underbanked and underserved. There's so many small businesses out there. So the last 2 years we've been working on really creating a solid business. Right now we have business accounts, but it's not a great product. So we've really built a team to restructure that. Arizona has probably the biggest unbanked small businesses, as well as people who are able to work here but don't have social security numbers. They have different types. So we're really working on those products to help people have really great products. But also we do a lot in the community. We created a charitable foundation 2 years ago, and we're just slowly starting to kick it off. So each year.
What is that focused on?
It's focused on our community. So we try to sponsor more with smaller charitable organizations that really make an impact for them. So, there's a lot of huge, like, for example, Children's Miracle Network, a lot of credit rally around that. But there's so much support there. They're getting a lot, but there's a lot of smaller communities that deal with veterans, homeless, adoption, fostering, all those types of things. So we really try to get almost strategic alliances with them to help them, and also know that we're here to support anybody affiliated with them. And so our charity,
wonderful,
really work with that. And so we were able to work last year with 68 different charitable organizations to help sponsor them. Our employees get free time off to support these events. They also are able to donate to them. The company matches 50%. I personally match the other 50%, so that we are helping them not just with volunteer time, but also monetarily. We have scholarship programs, first-time homebuyer programs, a lot of different things to help the underserved in our communities, because I so much need in Arizona for that.
Oh, heck yeah. Excellent. Good stuff, Karen. So I have a reflection question for guests. What do you wish you knew sooner about building wealth and success earlier in your career?
So I'm so fortunate because I got to create our 401k plan at my first job. So I've been in there since I was 18. And I just have been so blessed and fortunate to be able to create these programs. So my deal is I try to educate everybody else. So I get to meet every new hire who comes in, and I always tell them, even if it's 1%, start with 1%. And every year you get your increase, add 1%, because by the time you get to retirement, you will have financial wellness. And that's what we're all working for. My husband is always saying how blessed he was to find me, because he trusts me. I mean, he does, but from an early age, I said, you know what, we're going to put aside $25 for vacation. Each paycheck, $25. And every time we get an increase, we'll raise it. And so we've always got to do really cool vacations because we save, and all our other little buckets. So again, I think everybody should work at a credit union as their first job, because they learn so much. And you really get that knowledge that I talk to people today that are my age, and they don't understand it at all. Like they don't.
There's a definite lack of financial education.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so simple. There's just such simple steps to get you there, not to be a millionaire, but to have financial success. Everybody could do it in their lives.
Yes. Yep. But like you said, some of it's about exposure and education, and a lot of it's about discipline and action.
That's one thing that we are doing that's really exciting. I have a wonderful business development team that really works into the community, but we've just recently started talking to some of the cities, and Glendale is a great partner that we have, that we will be actually being able to get into some of the high schools to do financial education for the students. And I'm so excited and proud of that. Right.
Yes, that's
awesome. It really should be a mandatory curriculum for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Okay. Well, Karen, if people would like to learn more, connect with you, learn more about you and or Credit Union West, what should they do? Where can they go?
Well, Credit Union West is at www.cuwest.org. I also have a LinkedIn profile that I love to expand, and so they can find out more about me there as well.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you everybody for listening and watching. Thank you very much, Karen Roch, for joining me today. We appreciate you sharing your story and insights into success and impact here in Phoenix.
Thank you.
Inspired by our guests? Visit PhoenixProsperityPodcast.com/guest and join us on the show and share your success story with Tim. The spotlight awaits.